Good morning, everyone. Let's start with today's class of strategic management. Today our topic is strategic intent. But before starting with new topic, I would like you to brush up with the previous class in which we discussed strategic planning. So we discussed why strategic planning is required and what it is actually. So it is a base that we prepare strategic intent on the basis of strategic planning. When do we do strategic planning? When we know that there is some uncertainty. So, to mitigate that risk of uncertainty, we plan things in advance. Or is it something that when you are certain about anything, then also you go for planning? No. When we are confident enough that this is going to happen and this is we are going to achieve, then we need not to have a plan, isn't it? So uncertainty, wherever it exists, there the word planning or strategic planning come into existence. Even if you take an example, when you are going on a vacation with your family, mom always keeps a first aid box in the luggage. Why? It is not that she wants that she wants you guys to fall sick there or something, but that is a kind of proactive planning. In case if it happens, then that is a kind of proactive planning that you keep things ready in advance so that you can come out of that negative situation in case it arises, right? So on basis of that, today we're going to start with strategic intent. So what is strategic intent? It is an obsession with an organization, an obsession by having ambitions that may even be out of proportion to their resources and capabilities. This obsession is to win at all levels of the organization while sustaining that obsession in the quest for global leadership. It is nothing but obsession means, पागलपन, किसी चीज को लेके एक पागलपन होना. So it is rightly said that if you don't dream about something, you cannot achieve that dream. So to achieve something, you need to have a dream. Even if you heard that Man Ki Baat recently, our PM addressed, Prime Minister Modi ji addressed to the students कि सपना वो देखो जिसमें जो आपकी पकड़ में ना हो बट पहुंच में हो. That means कि it is somewhere set high, you don't have it right now, but you can always reach to that, you can always achieve to that, right? So that should be your, actually for everything, to achieve anything in life, it is much that you have that fire within you, वो सपना आपके अंदर, वो पैशन आपके अंदर होना चाहिए, so that it keeps on propelling you towards that, कि तभी तो आप जाओगे when you have something in your mind कि okay, that is my motto or that is my sapna. So then you work towards that dream which you have taken up. So it is nothing strategic intent in simple words. It can be explained as that something which you need so badly that it doesn't let you sleep, right? जो ये entrepreneurs and whatever they don't start their business for profit making alone, but they have that dream to do that particular thing. That's why they start up with that, right? So हर organization का एक सपना होता है कि मुझे वहां तक पहुंचना है, and उसके लिए मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ, कुछ भी कर सकती हूँ या कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ. So that sapna is your strategic intent, that fire, that passion, that attitude, that is your strategic intent. Entrepreneurs, if somebody wants to open a global school or global college, it doesn't mean कि उस बंदे को वो इसलिए स्टार्ट करना है कि he wants to earn profit out of it. No, there is another goal, there is another dream in his mind, that he wants to disseminate the knowledge, he wants to transfer the knowledge at a higher level, at some different level. So that has to be there. If you don't have that fire within you, so you cannot achieve it. And it is rightly said, especially for businessmen, that there is nothing called a failure. There is only two ways of succeeding. First one is you try something and then you get successful. The other one is you don't try, you sitting at home, but you learned that what you have missed out, and then you learn from that thing and then you succeed. So there are only two ways. There's nothing called as failure. It doesn't mean that once you started up on a project or some business and it failed, and it doesn't mean that you would never try it. You know, if you won't try, you have learned something from that failure, that what all things went wrong. So if you have learned something from that, you'll start up something new. In this time, second time, you won't be making the same mistakes. Again, there'll be some new learnings. So it is the fire within you. This is a strategic intent, and it has to be there in every organization. कि मुझे ये करना ही है, मेरी organization को वहां तक पहुंचाना ही है, ये achieve करना ही है, right? After that, obsession is nothing but pagalpan, how obsessed you are. And in the quest for global leadership, quest is your search for global leadership, so that you reach at a global position where you can act as a leader. So after this, we have the concept of stretch, leverage, and fit. What do you mean by stretch? Now coming to the stretch is nothing but it is the gap between the resources and aspirations. You know, misfit. You have very high dreams, but not necessarily that the resources of your organization will be supporting you. There might be a big gap between you might have very meager resources, but your aspirations are very high, so you won't be able to achieve it, right? So this stretch. Then another one is leverage. Leverage refers to concentrating, accumulating, complementing, conserving, recovering resources. This I'll be explaining to you in detail in coming slides, in such a manner that meager resource base is stretched to meet the aspirations and that an organization dares to have. What do you do? When there is a stretch, there is a mismatch between the resources and your aspiration. Aspirations are your aims, right? Your dreams. So when there's a mismatch, what do you think? Leverage means taking advantage of something, making best of something. Whatever small number, whatever very few resources you have, the mega resources, you try to make best of those with the help of these 5 methods, concentrating, which we will be discussing now. So when you want to stretch those mega resources so that it will help you in reaching to your aspiration. Next is fit. Fit means positioning the firm by matching its organizational resources to its environment. That means you make a best balance out of everything so that your strategies, it matches the environment. Your resources, present resources, those resources are able to match with the environment, and it will help you in achieving the goals. So here I have tried to explain stretch, that one side you have resources, another one you have aspirations, but it is very small, number of resources are very few. So you have to stretch them at their best. But there is always a hitch, always a risk available, that stretching should not be done at such a big level that it breaks in between and you loses your business, right? So strategic fit, it has environment on one side, resources on another side, and value on third side. It is 3-dimensional. Environment means your internal and external environment. Here we're talking about. Resources means the resources of your organization, and the third one is value, business value. What is the purpose? What are the principles, tenets of your business? So there is a EVR model given to explain the fit. See, one side you have resources, another side environment. In resources, what are the strengths and weakness? What are your best resources and what are your weak resources? Resources where you are lacking, that can act as your weakness. And then opportunities and threat, it will be a part of your external environment. And third dimension is values. So where everything is matching, the area where it is all merging together, that is your strategy and that is your vision. So that area you have to focus on, that how much it is getting contributed. You have to look for that fit where it is there. You have to position, your firm, your vision is to be positioned there. Now coming to the leverage. So leverage, we know what it is. So it is like that, taking the best advantage of anything. So it consists of getting the best of its present situation. You have to, maybe you have to boost the existing resources, or you have to opting for the competencies. So the main thing is to earn a competitive advantage with the available resources. It can be done through by applying new managerial approaches, bringing up something new, innovative methods and procedure, that you create something, you introduce some new methods or procedures of doing the same thing, in which cost has been reduced or it has increased the production, or involvement of cross-functional teams. See, various finance, HR, marketing, these are there. So they are expertise in everything. One person is expertise in finance, another one is expert in HR, another one is maybe in IB or productions. So you have to take best of those. You make a team where best from all the functions, from all the departments are involved, so that they can give out the best outcome. These are the 5 different ways of leverage which I have been given by Prahlad and Hemel. So first one, it starts with concentrating resources. That means whatever resources you have, first you bring them together, you concentrate on them, what things actually are available with you. Then accumulating the resources, collecting them together. Next is complementing resources, complementing your HR resources with your finance resources with marketing. Each all the resources should be supporting each other. Then conserving resources, conserving in the sense, it should not be, a conservative approach should be adopted. You should not be with a free hand, with an open hand, you should not be using it. Very radically, very rationally, you have to make use of those resources. Then next is recovering resources. If something is, stuck out, so you should try to recover it from the market in a very fast, in a very short time, as soon as possible. I got a question from Deepak. What is MVP? Sorry, MVP, Deepak, you can switch on your mic, or I'll take it after the class. Then next comes vision. What is vision? Vision is nothing but it is a future aspiration that leads to an inspiration. That means this is your future dream, but this is acting as a, inspiration to you for present, right? So basically, a company, everything, there is a purpose why that thing is existing. As in fact, every person, we forget organization, even if it is individual, then also that vision has to be there. A student going for a job interview, there that person is asking, what is your vision, or where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? But that boy or that girl is speechless, that student is speechless, because she is or he has never thought in that context. He or she never had that vision. All that student knew was, okay, I have to complete my degree, then I have to go, I have to search for a job, and that's it. He or she doesn't know like what he or she wants to achieve. So if that vision is missing, that means you are directionless. You don't know what do you want to out of your future. And if your things are clear, your vision, your aim is clear, then you always have the direction that I have to go like this, step by step. This is how I have to approach. Suppose if a student said, I want to become 10 years down the line, I want to become the highest taxpayer in the country. What does it mean? That means he wants to become the richest man, right? So for that, what he'll have to do? He'll have to become a good businessman first, and before that, he'll have to finish the MBA with good marks. After that, a placement, or maybe directly he or she can start the business. He or she might not be interested in doing the job, but that student has a vision that are to reach to that level. So things will be sorted for him. That first I have to finish my MBA with 70%. After that, I have to take a placement. I would earn some experience, and after that I would starting up my own business, and like that I'll be becoming the highest taxpayer, right? But if that vision is not there, so whatever is coming on the way, he or she will keep on accepting कि अच्छा चलो पहले जॉब मिल जाए जॉब कर लेते हैं, या फैमिली बोल रही है बिजनेस स्टार्ट कर लो बिजनेस कर लेते हैं, or maybe some third way out, I don't know, right? So that vision has to be there because it provides a direction, basic and at the top of hierarchy of strategic intents. So yeah, vision is at the top level of strategic intent. Aspirations expressed as strategic intent should lead to an end. End means because that is your ultimate goal. What do you want? Be it from your individual life or be it from your organization. Once you have reached that vision, that means you are near to the destination. You have reached to your destination. This is what a person or an organization would ultimately like to attain in the near future. A vision is generally more dreamt than it is articulated. That means whatever dream you have, it is generally more dreamt in the sense that the one who is dreaming it can visualize the things on a different scale, but it might not be clearly articulated, clearly unko बताया ना जा रहा, you cannot mention or you cannot convey. Articulation is clearly conveying something. आप उनको बयान नहीं कर पा रहे हो, yeah, that is your articulation. But your dream is at a different level. It always happens. Whatever we have dream, what dream we have or whatever we have in our head might not be clearly written in words. Because words are very few. You cannot confine it in the words. By its nature, it may be as good as a dream, yet it is a powerful motivator to action. That means it is a dream, but at the same time, it acts as a motivator to do the action or to take the action towards that goal. So, what are the benefits of having a good vision? First is, good visions are inspiring and exhilarating. Inspiring means it inspires you, exhilarating means full of thrill. It gives that thrill inside you. Okay, yeah, let's work for it, let's achieve it. Then help in the creation of common identity and a shared sense of purpose. Help in the creation of common identity and a shared sense of a vision starts from the top level, and then it gets transferred to the middle level and lower level. See, there is a shared vision and there is a vision shared, and there is a very thin line between the two. Shared vision means which was a vision which was created at top level, but middle level and lower level was also made participant in that while designing that vision, and they were also participative in that. So they know what the vision is, what organization wants, what our seniors want, and then they will be working because they have been a part of that. That is your shared vision. The other one is vision shared. That is when you force the vision which you have, the dreams which you have seen, those dreams, middle level and lower level have no clue about it. But you just forcing them, okay, this is my dream and I am asking you to do this, middle level and lower level people, and they are doing it. That is like, if they are asking you, why should I do it? You say, because I am asking you to do, being your boss. So you have to do. So that is there is a force in that, in vision shared. So your vision should always be shared. There should be a common identity. There should be a shared sense of purpose. Every person who is a part of the organization should feel it as it is their sense of purpose also, that they also have a purpose behind it. Next is competitive, original and unique. Yeah, your vision has to be original and unique, because everybody's everyone's dreams are unique and they have their own personal dreams. Next is make sense, as these are practical. Practical in the sense, it should not be something, just very sounding high words you just put together and you make it a vision of your business. No, it should make some sense. It should be practical. It should be feasible. You should be able to reach to that position, right? Then foster risk taking and experimentation. Foster is, it promotes. If you have a vision, you have a dream, then somewhere it is promoting you that no matter, even if you're facing some risk or some problems are coming on the way, you should be able to, you know, face it. So it allows you to experiment yourself to go on that road. Next is foster long-term thinking. Obviously, it forces you, it promotes the long-term thinking, generally for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Truly genuine. Genuine means it has to be truly, it should not be fake. Represent integrity with honesty and are meant to benefit stakeholders. And the ultimate aim of this vision of the organization should be to benefit the stakeholders. Now there are some definitions given for vision. First one is given by Kotler. It is described as a description of something that an organization, a corporate culture, a business or a technology or an activity in the future. That means that something can be organization, it can be a change in corporate culture, or it can be a business, it can be technology, it can be anything. So it is something that you want in future, in very simple words, right? So another definition says it is a mental perception of the kind of environment an individual or an organization aspires to create within a broad time horizon and the underlying conditions for the actualization of this perception. See, what is perception? Perception is your thinking or your viewpoint, right? So perception means it is virtual. It is not something, it is intangible. It is just a mental thought process. That is your mental perception. So what is your perception? What do you aspire to create in a long period of time? And उसके नीचे फिर क्या होता है कि फिर एक्चुअलाइजेशन कैसे करना उस परसेप्शन को, उन थॉट प्रोसेस को, उस मेंटल प्रोसेस को, how will you convert it into tangible product? Okay, this is your vision, because vision will help you कि जो आपके थॉट प्रोसेस में जो आपके एम्स और आपके सपने वो चल रहे हैं, उनको आप अल्टीमेटली एक प्रोडक्ट के फॉर्म में कैसे लेके आओगे, राइट? So it is a category of intentions that are broad, all inclusive, everything is included in that, and forward thinking and future thinking, right? Envisioning process. Envisioning process means the process of creating a vision, how a vision is created. It has two major components. First one is core ideology and the another one is envisioned future. Core ideology defines enduring character of an organization that remains unchangeable. That means enduring means permanent, right? It is the permanent character of the organization. It shows कि उनकी ideology क्या है, किस ideology पे काम कर रहे हैं. So it has core values and core purposes. Core values means the essential tenets of an organization. Tenets, you must be knowing. Tenets means TENETS. It means principles. किन principles पे वो काम कर रहे हैं. Those are your core values. Core purpose is the reason for being, you know, the reason for existence. So organization's reason for being is the core purpose. So these two combined together, it forms the core ideology. The envisioned future, a long-term, time-bound goal and vivid description of what it would be like to achieve that goal, right? So again, this envisioned future, it has two components. First is audacious goals, long-term audacious goals, and the second one is vivid description of what it will be like to achieve the goal. Now, what do you mean by this? Envisioned future means आप यहाँ पे बैठ के, आज बैठ के, after 20 years का future को you are assuming in your, you are imagining the future after 20 years of your organization in your mind. तो उसमें क्या क्या आएगा? एक तो आपके 20 years के जो goals हैं. Audacious means you know, full of danger. Those risk-taking goals in which you are taking the risk. Those are your audacious goals. And एक तो आपके वो गोल्स आ जाएंगे 20 ईयर्स में क्या क्या रिस्क लेके आपको फुल ऑफ दैट यू नो वो रूट 20 ईयर्स का कि क्या क्या खतरे सहन करते हुए आप वहां पे पहुंचोगे. And next, another one will be vivid description. Vivid description means that clear and colorful picture of the future. That after you have achieved your goals after 20 years, then how it will be, what it will feel like. You know, that would be your another point which is included in envision future, and that is a part of your vision. So while preparing the vision of an organization, you have to take care of core ideology, and the second one is envision future. Now, what a vision should and what a vision should not be. First, a vision should be a organization's charter of core values and principles. Obviously, it is a charter, it is a record of core values and principles. It should be there. The ultimate source of our priorities, plans and goals. Priorities और plan और goal के जो ultimate source है वो होने चाहिए. Then it should be a puller into the future. That means it should be pushing you towards the future. It should be so attractive that it should be able to pull you towards it. That keep on working hard, you have to reach to your goal. A reflection of what makes an organization unique. It shows that how your organization is different than the other organizations, because vision of every organization is unique. Inspire and motivate. It should be inspiring and motivating to everybody whoever is involved in it. The another one is a vision should not be. What are the things which should not form as a part of your vision? A high concept statement or an advertising slogan. That means कि आपने कहीं से भी एक स्लोगन उठा लिया है, कुछ भी heavy से good sounding words उठा लिए हैं, and you put it together and you say this is the vision of my business. No, it is all meaningless. There has to be a meaning in your vision, and वो meaning, वो aim ऐसा होता है कि जिसके लिए फिर on basis of that you prepare your strategy. It should be achievable and it should have a meaning and direction. A strategy and view from top. That means कि only ऊपर का ना एक आपने स्ट्रेटेजी फ्रेम कर दिया कि नहीं, हाँ बस इसको विजन रख लेते हैं, वहां पे पहुंच जाना है हमें 20 इयर्स के बाद. आई वांट टू बी यू नो ऑन द टॉप इंडस्ट्री और द टॉप ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इन इंडिया. बस किस फैक्टर, किस इंडस्ट्री में, किस सेक्टर में, किस पर्टिकुलर सेगमेंट में, वो कुछ आपको पता ही नहीं. जस्ट बाय सेइंग वेगली कि आई वांट टू बी the top industry or the top organization in India by 2030 or 40. But this is all vague. ये ऊपर से एक बोलने वाली बात है. A history of proud past. कि बस जो पीछे से करते आ रहे हो उसको you are combining together and you putting it as vision. कि in last 10 years we have achieved this, we started from here, we have reached here, and that you are framing it as your vision. No, that's not vision. A soft business issue. कोई भी एक इशू है जो अभी निकल के आ रहा है, उसको यू टारगेटिंग, यू थिंकिंग कि नहीं ये एक बिजनेस इशू है, इस पे लोग कम काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ है, तो उसको मैं अपना विजन बना लेती हूँ. एंड देन इट शुड नॉट बी पैशनलेस. आई टोल्ड यू इन द वेरी बिगिनिंग that fire has to be there in your strategic intent, and the vision forms the top hierarchy, or it comes on the top on the hierarchy of strategic intent. So it has to be full of passion, it has to be very passionate, then only you'll be passionate to work towards it. If it is passionless, it is not inspiring enough, it is not pulling you, then there is no point. So here are some of the examples of vision statements. First, Vision 2001 of BHEL, that is Bharat Heavy Electrical Limited, a world-class, innovative, competitive, profitable engineering enterprise providing total business solutions. Then if we look at the vision of Canara Bank, to emerge as the best bank in customer service, profitability, productivity, and innovations. And see, it is not something that all the banks will be having same vision. No, it won't be same. Every bank has a different vision. Then now see the vision of Indian Oil Company, It aims to achieve international standards of excellence in all aspects of energy and diversified business with focus on customer delight through quality products and services. So these are some of the vision statements in Indian context. So we'll continue in the next class with next hierarchy, that is mission. Okay, we'll talk about it in the next class. Now you are free to ask your queries, please.